Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. I'm trying to tidy up the lab. It's a nightmare. Every single surface, floor space, shelf space, everything is now a total mess in here. It wasn't that it wasn't a total mess before, it was just a kind of a controlled mess. But I decided I'm going to have a big old sort out, and that is the worst thing you can do if you want to be productive, because it means just everything is out, everything is filthy, everything's covered in grime. However, the thing that stops me and slows me down when I do these is that I keep finding stuff that looks really cool, like too cool to throw away. So I just thought I'd stop for a minute, take a breather, try to tidy up a tiny bit of desk space here. Anybody want any LEDs? Got a lot of LEDs here. And basically see what's worth salvaging on some stuff, because it looks interesting. I'll give it that much. It looks really interesting. So I'm just going to clear a little space. Okay. Look at this. This looks interesting as well. This arrived. This was several months late from an order I did with, I think it was CPC or RS. Sometimes you order stuff and then it says to follow because it means it wasn't in stock at the time. So they've sent out the bulk of your order and then they're going to send out the balance. And this apparently is a tub of soldering flux. So let's have a look, see what that is. I mean, it must be good. It took ages for it to arrive. It's popular around the world. Soldering paste. What's soldering paste then? Is that literally with solder in it? Sealed for your protection. I think this is solder paste. You know, like we usually use it in the old tubes. This is probably the format that you use it for if you're doing one of those solder screen things. Oh no, it's not. It's just regular sort of flux. Meh. Okay. Fair enough. Excitement over. Mischief managed. Chuck it on the shelf. We'll use that another day. Right. So the things I really want to check out are these. See if there's anything good inside them. Oh, we'll have a play with this. This is some sort of PIR sensor with 3 wires. I reckon we'll see if we can figure if we can get this thing running. Maybe not today though. Right. Let's see what's in this. This was a Parrot universal hands-free set for a car. And the idea was when you speak on your phone, it would reroute the audio to your speakers. Oh, crikey. Let's turn that off. It would reroute the audio to your... Be quiet. And what it would do, basically, instead of using your radio for doing the car audio, it would basically take over the sound. It would have its own amplifiers and its own connection to your phone and just operate completely independently of your car stereo. So your car stereo had no idea something was hijacking its speakers, basically. So we can chuck that away. Is it something potted? No, it's not potted. So what have we got here? We've got a couple of potted items, but it looks like we've got 3 nice little relays there. 2 amp relays. Well, this, yeah, 3 2 amp relays. 2 amps at 30 volts. And I suspect they're 5 volt switching. Let's see if they're 5 volt switching. If that is, then it's sensible. We can use them. We've got our power supply set to 5 volts. I mean, okay, 12 volt switching is probably more likely, isn't it, for a car type thing? So, guess as to which would be the power. I'm guessing this end here. Let's have a listen. So there's one. I'm not seeing anything on the... Ah, that's because my contact's not plugged in. No. Maybe not. No. Okay, hang on. I do see the current things flash there. Yeah, 12 volt relays. Yeah, I don't know. Might be worth popping those off. Probably more useful things like these connections, actually. Problem is, about a lot of car projects, isn't it? It's like, or any project for that matter, it's always kind of easy just to order the bits you need for the project. It's tricky. I've got so many packs of resistors and random surface mount stuff from existing projects, because you always order more. So if you're going to make like, I don't know, 50 boards, you'll buy probably enough like passives, like capacitors and resistors, to do, I don't know, 70 boards or even 100 boards. They're not your cost driver on that, so you'll just order loads of those just to make sure you got spares, because you don't want to hang up your production over, you know, oh, hang on, this sometimes, over like a part that cost a fraction of a penny. So this is interesting. So this is one of those Parrot universal hands-free things, but let's have a closer look at this. This is a really nice looking board. So it's got the Parrot 4 Plus processor. I don't know what that could be. It could be anything, really. It could be like an ARM, it could be anything. It's on a board this sophisticated, it really could be. Looks like you got your power supply here. Kind of slightly puffy looking capacitors, but it's probably okay. And I guess that's probably a flash memory right there. That thing is an interesting thing. It could be an amplifier of some description. It's a TDA 1519. I suspect that is an amplifier, like an audio one. Then a little doodaddy here, a little Infineon, a PMB 8761, and there's a crystal there. So another little processor doing something, maybe a sound shaping thing, who knows. And then a probably programming header, and this is an Eton ET866. Interesting. Oh, there's more on the back. Ah, hang on. Now that looks more like a flash. That. Interesting. An LP82. Now that is interesting. Different types of thing there. And then a Winbond W681360SG. So you could Google this now and go through and look at this board, but you can see now why they're quite expensive units, really. They do have a lot of sexy little transistors and stuff. This one, I think I'll keep this. I might just bin the relays as is, and I'm going to keep this because that's going to go on the shelf of usefulness, because there's some stuff we can lift off that if we need to. And that reminds me, something else I dismantled a bit further. If you remember, we had a tablet. I've kept this, but this is slightly less useful, but probably could have some scope for use because of these passives at the top and the little transistors. But this is a board from a tablet, and that's the Allwinner A13 chip there. I mean, you could lift the Allwinner, so maybe if you've got something that needs that, you could try that. There is a micro SD card reader there and a couple of ribbon connectors, but there's no chance. You're never going to get one of these ribbon connectors off without damaging it. In terms of the other components on there, just really little chokes and doodads. I mean, every now and then, really rare, but every now and then, sometimes I do need a little passive or a choke or something, and they just happen to work. You just need to fill that space on your other board, which is broken, and that can do it for you. One last box of bits actually that's sitting here, and this one is from Jared. Jared Rebo, multi-rotor guy, sent me some stuff, and I actually dismantled the thing that this was in, but this was from a remote control radio thing. You know, the remote control radios, and it had some nice bits in it. The radio itself was totally knackered, and it was probably from an 9XR Pro, but look what you have here. You've got like a nice little Atmel 80 SAM 3S8C. So it did have quite a lot of sophisticated stuff in there. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. You do have a micro USB, a power, and a headphone style jack there all going on. Let's move the rest of the box. Let's focus on this board at the minute. Not much else on the main board you can see, but there are some buttons. So these would have been the buttons probably on the front for tuning something, up, down, going through menus. A nice battery holder, like a vertical mount battery holder. That's pretty rare. And a few connectors you're probably not going to be able to use. And this thing here, I don't know what this is sticking up. Definitely some sort of interesting module. Probably a power supply. There's a obviously a choke on it, and it's a 3-pin. That, ooh, you know what that could be? That could be a small switching power supply. So you know you get the standard regulators that look like the transistors. Now you use them in all your sort of LM 315, 513, you know the one I'm talking about. You open anything, you'll see that linear regulator. I think this is a switching regulator designed to fit in the same package. It's hard to see. Is it micro E2 something? I'm going to zoom in because your eyesight at home is probably better than mine. Even the camera's struggling to read it. Focus, focus. There we go. Look at that guy there. So that's what that guy looks like. And if we look at the back, you can see camera's focusing on the wrong thing again. There you go. Lots of goodness, and it's a standard 3-pin. That one's probably worth lifting and playing with at some point in the future. We'll figure out what that one is. And then you get a whole weird load of chassis components. I mean, these are quite complicated beasts, really. So there's adjustments here. So you can see these are buttons that push in, and they touch the standard kind of rubbery contacts. And they're like a chassis mount thing, so if you wanted effectively like shoulder buttons, you could unscrew that and screw them into your project. You've got a small RF antenna here, which is pretty much about the right length for Wi-Fi, if you want to use that. So you've got a little Wi-Fi antenna. You've got this crazy board, which is obviously another power supply board, maybe coming from the battery. And it's got various, I think probably power supply type stuff, but there's two fuses, like a PCB fuse right there, and then a standard glass fuse. So there's so many crazy stuff. So this would be the 9XR Pro RF deck, apparently, the Pro RF deck. I mean, these must be so expensive to make in this way. Then you get these lovely harnesses with good connectors on them, but look at that. You got toggle, momentary, another toggle, another 3-way. I mean, these switches alone, little turny pots. What else do you get? You get little joysticks. Look at that. One of these was knackered though, but I can see the pot's good in that. The pot is good in that, so you could use that right away in a project. Just 3D print something, just mount that. All you need is that circle cut out something, and you mount it from underneath. So it's got, this one doesn't have a spring return on the up and down, but it's got a spring return on the in that direction. But I suspect there was another one here that was broken. Let's see what that one did. That was spring return in all directions. So you could look at them and figure out how the spring return works and just transfer that. In fact, I can see it there. There's a spring return thing there that's transferring. Could transfer over. The unfortunate side is the PCB containing that pot on that one's damaged, so I can't use that one. There's the other half of it somewhere in this box. And then you have another harness for the other side. Again, toggle, 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 and two little pots. That's good. Ah, that's the little screen off it. And the backlight. So that's fun, isn't it? You've got the actual backlight driver and the screen. And you can see there's like the various joysticks and whatnot. What's this one? Speaker. Ah, the other half of that pot. So we could fix that other thing. Various, you know, shoulder buttons for the plastics and stuff, and then a nice power switch. There you go. So yeah, all in all, very groovy thing. So thanks, Jared, for that. That's got lots of scope there. Look at these little joystick things too. I mean, they're sort of unscrewable, and you can mod them to do stuff. So, oops, let's not break it pushing this in. But yeah, I'm trying to think what you could use those for. Definitely trims. I mean, it'd be so easy to actually hook all of this up to something like a booby board, just register all the analog to digital stuff and the digital I/O, and pipe that through into your PC to do something with. And the very last thing here, I found this fan. It was annoying me seeing it in the box. It was all kind of half falling apart. Let's give it some voltage. Does it say what it would want? I don't remember what these colours mean, so I'm going to go with, let's go with 5, and then we'll see if that runs, and if it doesn't run, we'll knock it up to 12. Oh, it does run. Dang it, it does run. That means this scummy old fan can't get thrown away by my moral code. Curse you! See you later. Bye-bye.